And what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Bridging the Geekdoms. That's what we're called. A show where we talk about all things in the pop culture world, whether it's TV, music, video games, movies, comics, all that kind of stuff. I am Slav, the one who will lead you on this journey through our crazy, crazy world of pop culture. But I'm not alone. With me are my two pals, my cohorts, my men in arms. We got Colton and Jerry. What's going on, guys?
What's up? Let's do butt stuff and other weird butt stuff.
Glad to be back with butt stuff.
Wow. I'm going to step out, so you guys have fun.
Nice.
Oh, Bob died. Son of a bitch.
He was knocked down from the silly string.
Oh.
So what's going on, guys? How's it been? I know that, Jerry, you got a chance to go see Spider-Man the other day. I know,
Yep.
Colton, you got a chance to just be a loser. And
Hey,
I played
I
a lot of
exist.
Halo. So
Hey.
what's going on?
Hey, I played Power World and Power Wash Simulator too. Fuck off.
No, what's going on? I mean, how's the week gone? Have you guys read anything, watched anything interesting that isn't on the docket?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading Fantastic Four, Spectacular Spider-Man, and some Justice League America.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I
Like
just
Colton.
stay existing.
Well, Colton, you were reading stuff when you were on vacation a couple weeks ago. Did you continue reading, or did you just like, I'm done now?
No, I mean, I try to read every once in a while, normally before bed. So, whatever's just the first random thing I decided to pick. Well, I was actually looking through all the Secret Wars shit for, what was it, 2015 that you asked for? And I was like, oh, there's a lot to this that I didn't. Yeah, that I didn't read. So I'm kind of reading.
Yeah, the big thing, my brother-in-law, he's getting pumped up for Doomsday, and he asked me a bunch of questions about what Doomsday is going to be about, what Secret Wars is going to be about, and I kind of like told him, I was like, look, I doubt it's going to be a 1-to-1 comparison to the comics, but I was like, read both of the Secret War runs, the one from the 80s and then the one from 2015. Read those runs because it'll give you an idea of kind of the probably what they're going to be attempting to do in some form or fashion. So he found the one from the 80s, but he only got 30 pages. And I was like, I think you just got an issue, man. I don't think you got the whole run, because I'm pretty sure the whole run's like 200 and some odd pages. So that's what's going on there. And then after that, he's going to read the one from 2015. So, but he was questioning me on the 80s one. He's like, why is Iron Man black? Why is I was like, no, that's not technically Iron Man, but it is.
Yeah,
It's just Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder.
So, but it's good times for sure. I love when other people get a chance to pick up old comics and check them out and for the first time, and they start asking questions. And it's like, first off, that the Marvel comics in the 80s, I hate anything like mid 90s. I can't stand the art in Marvel comics. So I'm always like, first off, guy, like the artwork is very dated. And even some of the script, like, the dialogue is very dated as well. So
the older comics, like for me, were a bit of an acquired taste. A lot of the art can be dated. A lot of the dialogue can be dated. Like there's been a lot of innovation to it. But there's also something special about it, but it took me a while to come around on all of that.
Yeah. I mean, again, you don't want to miss out on a gem of a story because of little things like that. But again, you can, it's so crazy how massive of a change. And it really started in the 80s, like the late 80s into the 90s. There was that big shift and change of how comics were delivered and drawn and everything. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, but enough about that. Let's get into the news and topics at hand. Marvel, DC, video games, other pop culture. Macaulay Culkin's in the news for some odd reason, and we're going to talk about it because why the hell not? So there's a bunch of stuff to discuss here, but we're going to start off like we do every week with Marvel. Whoops, there's Jerry. We lost him for a second. That's okay.
It's okay, Jerry. You died too. I'm sorry.
I died. I respawned pretty quick though.
Movie talk now. What's going on, man? He says Jack Kirby's psychedelic work is timeless. See, there's some exceptions to that. Like Jack Kirby is such an iconic and storied, comic creator and artist and everything from back in the day that when you sit there and you read something of his, you're like, first off, it is clearly Jack Kirby, but it is what it is, man.
They still use Kirby Crackle today. So like there's a lot of things that they've done, that are mainstays today. And you see it in Marvel and DC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So San Diego Comic-Con was last weekend. We kind of alluded to that and talked a little bit about it last week's show. And we got a new trailer kind of for Avengers Doomsday. Now, the thing is, it was only shown to those in attendance at Comic-Con. But come on, people are going to leak stuff. Did you guys get a chance to see the leaked trailer?
Thanks to Jerry, yes. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think it was a better trailer than the first one. I still am struggling to get my hype for this movie. Maybe if I see it in a not, shaky phone camera, view, maybe in high def, maybe I'll appreciate it and like it a lot more. But it was definitely a better trailer than the first one was. When do you think? I'm sitting here trying to struggle. Like, when are they going to release that trailer to the masses? Because right now we're at the end of July. So essentially we got August, September, October, November. So like 4.5 months until the movie comes out. D23, when is that? Do you guys know by any chance?
No.
Because D23 date.
August 14th to 16th. So soon.
So it's soon. I don't think they're gonna release it then. I mean, they might show it to those in attendance, maybe.
I actually saw that someone said, and he seemed pretty confident, and I think it was like a big channel, but that they're not releasing what they showed at whatever. It's not San Diego
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like at all, ever?
At all, which is crazy because it was so much better than the first trailer that we got. The first legit trailer that wasn't the December, ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. But who knows what they have up their sleeve for the marketing for this movie. Again, D23 is too soon. I don't think they're going to release anything then. I would say the next big trailer for this movie to be released publicly is going to come probably in October. That's my guess. And it kind of makes sense because you could attach it to movies that are coming out between October and the Thanksgiving season. And that's where you're going to want to grab all those people. So that, for me, I think that's the best bet. Whether it's that trailer or something new, that's to be seen. But again, like, do you guys think it was better than the other one? What are your thoughts?
I liked it a lot more. Sorry, I was dying.
No worries. You go ahead.
But yeah, no, it was a lot better than the first one. And I also like we get to see a little bit more of the Thor, like, no, God, no, stop, I'm scared. Oh man, don't do that. It scared me a little bit. That would have been perfect time for the silly string. Oh God, no, stop. No, I ain't afraid of this. Fuck, what were we talking about? Oh, the trailer. Look, you can't sidetrack me.
All right, so Jerry, what did you think?
I thought it was much better than the first trailer, the first 4 trailers that we got. The Sue and Thor, and establishing that Reed and Doom and the Fantastic Four. have history was crucial. A lot of people, myself included, were really worried about that. I don't know why they're not releasing this. I have to imagine they have something really big up their sleeves. I'm sure on a movie they're basically paying 40 or 50 mil to Robert Downey Jr. for. And it's Disney. You have to imagine the marketing that they're about to do is going to be an absolute showcase of, the best of the best. And if it's not, people will be rightfully critical of them for it not being that. But, one thing I've noticed so far about the marketing for Avengers Doomsday, at least up until now, they've been very closed off about it. The post-credit scenes and the 4 trailers that we got in December, the one that CinemaCon saw, we didn't see till like months later. And now, similarly, with the San Diego Comic-Con trailer that leaked online, but we didn't get a real good, visual. It seems like they are very hush-hush and keeping most of the footage under wraps, at least until now.
Yeah, I don't know. I've felt that the marketing for this movie to this point has been pretty bad. But I don't know. Colton, are you ready to talk? Can you talk and not laugh?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I did see some sources online say the next trailer is 3 minutes and 22 seconds of Gambit giving us a jambalaya recipe.
Interesting.
Get it? Because he has the Jamaican accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was bad. It sounded better in my head.
Sorry.
And he's gone. Okay, so guys, let us know.
It got really loud. My PC got really loud.
If you guys saw the lead trailer, let us know your thoughts on what you thought of it down below. Look at that. Dominique Anderson 4878.
Hi, Dominique Anderson 4878. Hi. Also, hi, Ron. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron. How's it going? All right, moving on. Keeping going with the Marvel. We got an announcement at Hall H as well for Ghost Rider. And not just the movie, but the casting of Ghost Rider is Ryan Gosling. He will be joining Marvel Studios as Ghost Rider, and it will be directed by Sean Levy, who directed Deadpool and Wolverine just a few years ago. And they're shooting to have this movie out by 2028. Now, if you ask me, this feels very similar to another announcement that happened about 7 years ago called Blade. But what do you guys think about this?
If this was during Magic, or no, was Ryan Gosling? No. Was Ryan Gosling in Magic Mike? No. Who am I thinking of? Who the hell am I
No
thinking
idea.
Of? Channing Tatum. That's who I'm thinking of. Never mind.
That's Gambit. You just
Gambit. I just for some reason thought he was a Magic Mike. But anyway, I think I kind of like Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. It's not Nicolas Cage.
No, you're right. Which, I mean, of course, I think if you put Nicolas Cage in anything, it makes it better. But I don't mind. I don't mind the casting. I just think this is going. At least they have a director right now, whereas with Blade, they didn't even have a director. So it's just a little bit different. But I'm just worried that, hey, here's a movie, here's an actor, and the movie never gets made.
Yeah, I could see that happening, unless they want to dive deeper into the supernatural aspect of Marvel.
I think the movie's going to happen. I think that Disney clearly is very happy with Starfighter, and they really like the Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy team. I think that a lot of casuals have wanted this movie for a really long time. And for me, I got to tell you, I don't really care. I like Ghost Rider. He's all right. He's not one of my favorites. I think that this movie should have came out maybe 10 years ago. And Ryan Gosling's got a lot of cosmetic surgery. I mean, he just looked complete. He looked like a different person on that stage. Maybe he looked like that in Barbie. I don't know. I didn't see Barbie. I'm a grown man. I'm 35. I'm definitely not going to see a Barbie movie. That's just me. But yeah, Ghost Rider. I'm not excited for it. I think it could do well. Like I said, the general audience seems really hyped for some stuff like this. Ryan Gosling is a huge name, despite the cosmetic surgery. Girls are going to still go crazy for him. But for me, it doesn't really get me hyped.
Yeah, again, I'm excited about it because I've been wanting the supernatural world explored further with Marvel. That's some of my favorite type of corners of the Marvel universe, and they've only like scratched the surface when it came to Wanda and Doctor Strange and things like that. There's so much more to it. You add Blade, you add Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, and all these other characters that they could truly build and expand on and have a really, really badass little corner of the universe that is supernatural based. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see them give up on that idea, which I thought they were really going to push forward with and start with Blade, but that never got off the ground. Movie talk now. I love what he brings up here because he is married to Eva Mendes, who was the love interest in the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movies, and everybody's saying, will she return to be the love interest in this? I doubt it, but it'd be funny for sure.
I will say I do think it would do better as a TV show. I think keeping all the supernatural stuff to TV shows would do better than getting a film for Ghost Rider. Give it like a 6-episode limited run or something.
All right, but let us know your thoughts. What do you guys think about Ghost Rider and Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, keeping on the Marvel train, Black Panther 3 officially announced for December 15th, 2028. It will be starring a new T'Challa, kinda, and David Johnson. That was the big announcement for that. I'm going to start with you, Jerry. What do you think about this?
I couldn't hate it any more than I do. I think this is such a cop-out. I think that Marvel is fumbling the ball here so bad, and don't get me wrong, there are some people that seem to be excited about it now, but like nobody talks about it. The same people were excited for Wakanda Forever. And don't get me wrong, Wakanda Forever made money, but nobody talks about Wakanda Forever, ever. You never hear about it. Nobody cares about it. It's completely irrelevant. And this is, it's just like a joke. Who cares about T'Challa Jr.? We want T'Challa. T'Challa is the definitive Black Panther. He's such a great character. How do you move forward? And how are you going to have each Black Panther movie has a different Black Panther? Like, it's not like any of them has given us a chance to build on the last. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be worse if Black Panther 3 was Shuri. But still, and I want the Damson Idris. I'm a big fan of the kid. I hear this kid's a great actor, though. David Johnson. I'm sure he is, but I don't think he's as good as Damson Idris. That's a high bar. And I think that Marvel's 2028 slate is a problem because, you look at the MCU post Endgame, it was like they didn't have a plan. They were just releasing random movies. And for a while, it seemed like they were going to come out of the gate really strong with the X-Men. And we don't have an X-Men movie on the slate for 2028. I don't think they're going to be adding one to the 2028 slate. I think this is a really bad move. I think that Black Panther 3, without a real T'Challa and Ryan Gosling Ghost Rider, are not going to, it's not going to give the Marvel the direction that they need to show fans after they wrap up Secret Wars. So I have a problem with this.
Colton, what do you got?
They've turned Black Panther into such like a D-list character in the MCU that I don't really care for a Black Panther 3 or the character period, to be honest. I mean, I didn't care for. I mean, he had hype in Civil War, but other than that, he hasn't really done jack shit in the MCU. So I could care less at all.
Fair.
For me, I hate I absolutely hate this idea. I think this is terrible. I've been saying you have to recast T'Challa, basically replacing Chadwick Boseman. That is what they should have done originally. They didn't do it. Now they're going to make this David Johnson, which I'm sure is a fantastic actor. I have nothing against him. This is nothing against him at all. But they're casting him as basically the son of the original T'Challa, but he's going to be grown up because the last movie we saw him, he was like 3 years old or something. So this is all just ridiculous, and it makes no sense to me. My question is, how does Letitia Wright feel about this? Because they passed the mantle to her in the second one in Wakanda Forever, and now they're just like, about that, never mind. You weren't good enough. It's such a terrible move, the way they're handling it and how they've handled this specific character. And I think it's a shame. But hopefully David Johnson, let's say the movie's great, and I'm hoping it's great. I'm hoping it's good. I believe and hope that he can be a great character, but you have to wonder, like, what happens if it fails? Are they just done with Black Panther then? If it succeeds, maybe he's great and continues being Black Panther for 10, 15 years. But if it fails, if the movie is just terrible, what do they do then with that character? When they could have just continued with Letitia Wright, being Black Panther moving forward, and people already accepted it. Now you're changing it again. It's maddening. Maddening, I tell you, maddening.
I'm going to be interested to see how they make the time jump work if he was 3 in the second Black Panther.
That doesn't make sense either, because how is this time jump going to work with Secret Wars? In hindsight, it's going to be right after Secret Wars. The other thing that's crazy to me is it's hard to enjoy a superhero movie if you're not bought in on the hero. And that was my issue with Wakanda Forever. I didn't care for Shuri. I really thought that movie would have been a top MCU movie if it just had T'Challa instead of Shuri as the superhero. Like that movie had all the right elements, but I never rewatched it once because I don't care for Shuri as the Black Panther. That's so whack to me. They should have recast, and it's from fumble from Wakanda Forever to a fumble here. And listen, maybe it'll make money, but we all know in this IP dominant, superhero dominant cinema landscape, it's not just about making money. It's about also being received well and aging well. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine did $1.3 billion. And a lot of people would tell you it was the best movie when it came out. And you ask them today what they think about Deadpool and Wolverine, and they'll tell you, oh, it's crap. I think that's kind of similar to what happened for some people who thought they liked Wakanda Forever. And I think it's very possible that happens with Black Panther 3.
Yeah. But let us know your thoughts, everyone. Tell us what you think. Do you think David Johnson's the right choice? Do you think they should be doing it this way? Do you think they're screwing over Letitia Wright? Let us know in the comments below. Now, here's a really fun little thing. I'm not going to play the whole video, but Ryan Reynolds did show up at San Diego Comic-Con wearing a very interesting Deadpool attire suit thing made completely out of denim. As he called it, it was jean gray is how he described the color of it. But he literally walked around Comic-Con just taking pictures with people. And I can guarantee you, because of the type of person he is and how it works, none of those people probably knew it was Ryan Reynolds there. So all these people probably have all these pictures with this Deadpool, and then they find out later that week, like, holy crap, that was I met Ryan Reynolds, but I didn't meet Ryan Reynolds. So that's really cool. It's cool to see that kind of stuff. But the big thing was where he showed up at the panel for Doomsday, and they had a little banter back and forth with him, Paul Rudd, and Robert Downey Jr. And I think one of the Russo brothers spoke to him as well. And it wasn't anything. Like, they didn't reveal anything with it. He was just having fun and poking fun and just reminding everybody that, hey, Deadpool is in the MCU. So I don't know if you guys caught any of that or a glimpse of this. Did you think it was the right move? Did you like the little back and forth? What did you guys think?
I mean, just a cool little PR thing. I don't think it was anything crazy.
There's still no confirmation that he's in Doomsday, and I think that was this is kind of the way, because he was like, "Oh, you guys filmed the movie already? Can I be in it?" Like, he did that kind of thing. We all know he's in it, but there's no confirmation.
Yeah,
I thought I saw like Discussing Film or something. Oh yeah, I'm looking. Discussing Film did say, "Oh no, that's 2 years ago." Sorry. Yeah, but listen. Could this be hinting towards an X-Force movie in the future? Maybe. Could it be a marketing gimmick and a stunt that they pulled to hype up the fans during their Hall H presentation? I think it's much more likely that.
Absolutely, that's what it is. Ron says, I hope Deadpool is not in Doomsday.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't know. The vibe of Deadpool to me is not suited for Doomsday.
Ron, we'll be getting to that momentarily here, so don't you worry. I think I'm fine with him. Like I think it was last week I even said, like, I want to see him in everything, like all Avenger movies, even if it's not in a role where he's actually part of the team, but like a Stan Lee cameo or just kind of popping up. Now, this one, I think this movie, or at least Secret Wars coming up, I think he should play a significant role in some form or fashion, because he's Marvel Jesus. Let's not forget that he's Marvel Jesus. So I think he should, but I don't know. I just, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I could care less. I mean, I'm sure he's probably in it for about 5 minutes and then that's it.
I mean, with all 432 people they have in the movie, I can't imagine them having.
Yeah, he's going to have about the same screen time as every other person that's not Steve Rogers, Dr. Doom, anybody in the Fantastic Four. He's going to have every screen time of all the characters below that.
All right, but let us know your thoughts, everyone, in the comments. What do you think about Deadpool being in Doomsday? Did you think this was fun with Ryan Reynolds walking around in a very odd Deadpool costume? Let us know in the comments below. Comic Craze says, Slav, react to Ramayana trailer. Please react to Ramayana trailer. I don't know what Ramayana is.
Bob, you got to give them what they want. I don't know what it is either.
Ramayana.
You got to get peer pressure.
Movie? Movie? It is no, it's a 2010 Indian film.
Oh, please.
Is that
please?
If that's what it is, I don't know. All right. Anyways, let's move on to, because we got a couple more Marvel things, because it's Marvel heavy this week, guys. But I don't know if you heard, but Marvel hates black people.
Oof.
I didn't see this.
So apparently Marvel's Wonder Man, which was a fantastic show, by the way. If you have not watched Wonder Man yet, go do yourself a favor. It's a quick watch. Each episode's like 20 to 30 minutes long. It's enjoyable. It's fun. I really enjoyed it. But they were making plans to do a season 2 for Wonder Man, and today it was revealed that, guess what? It's canceled. It's not coming back for a season 2. We also have Blade, which has been in development hell for the last 7 years. Captain America, that is Sam Wilson's Captain America, failed miserably at the box office, and they're saying he's sidelined because of bringing Steve Rogers back. Armor Wars, which was going to be Rhodey's little project that was supposed to be a TV show, was moved to being a movie at one point, and now I think it is canceled. So I don't know about that. I never heard of Moon Girl, so I don't know if that was even a thing that was supposed to come. And then Monica Rambeau, which I feel like they're saying, where is she? I mean, she was in WandaVision, and then the next logical thing was she was in the Marvels. There's been no reason to bring her back since then. But yeah, I think it's funny that people are screaming and yelling and crying that Marvel hates black people because of what I just talked about. Now, again, the big news here is Wonder Man has been canceled. It will not be returning for season 2, which I think is disappointing. I liked Yahya Abdul-Mateen in the role. I do hope that he gets brought into the larger MCU in some form or fashion down the line, especially because he has some, I mean, his powers aren't like, whoa, these are cool, but it'd just be interesting to see him in the role in a bigger way. And he did make a comment on it and said, that's life, right? Everything will shake out. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched the show, enjoyed the show, and shared that they enjoyed the show in some way or another. The show worked, and that's my favorite thing about it. I could see it on the faces of the YouTube reactors because I watched along with y'all this time. Shout out to y'all. And I can see in the messages I get saying how the show reminded some of you not to give up. And I feel it in the genuine love shared when I bump into some of you all during the day. So thinking of you all today, I'm glad we got to be part of something cool. Thank you for watching, and see you at the Emmys. So, yeah, that was Yahya Abdul-Mateen II speaking about the cancellation of Wonder Man. Now, I know, Colton, I don't think you watched it, but Jerry, I'm pretty sure
I wrote it down to watch it. So
okay, but Jerry, I'm pretty sure you did watch it. What did you think of the show?
I really liked the show. I thought it was a great example of Marvel finding its footing with its Disney Plus product. You know, Marvel's whole brand is superheroes who have relatable characteristics and traits. And this whole show, like you said, it was just about not giving up on your dreams. It was very self-aware. It was innovative for the genre. It was great in so many ways. It's really disappointing that this was canceled. I thought that like a lot of people really like this show. This is just a bad move. I don't understand what something must have happened behind the scenes that we're not familiar with, because the show was received well by people who watched it. People who watched it, like myself, you really liked it.
And it wasn't like an effects heavy show either. So it's not like it had to, I can't imagine it have been a lot of money to produce. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I don't, like you said, there had to be something that went on behind the scenes. Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi and Spider-Man Brand New Day, he was kind of the guy behind this. I'm wondering, now hear me out. I'm wondering if, because he's not going to be able to come back, because I believe he's going to be doing the next 2 Spider-Man movies and possibly a Shang-Chi too, that's a lot on his plate. And maybe that's kind of what happened. Maybe it's that he's not able to be involved and nobody wanted to do it without him being there, because from, I mean, let's face it, we're seeing what happened with Spider-Man Brand New Day, the reactions, people are loving it. Sony and Marvel would be stupid not to bring him back. So, you know, I mean, it's just, I don't know, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, but, and they've struggled a lot with Disney Plus. There's been most of Disney Plus Marvel has not been received well. So that's why it's so crazy to me. Like, it's one of the few wins they had, at least on fan reception and critic reception. Like, that's what's so crazy to me about it.
Yeah, for sure. But let us know your thoughts. Did you like Wonder Man? Are you upset that we're not getting a season 2? Do you think, hey, maybe at some point they will do a season 2? Let us know what you think in the comments below. All right. So we're going to start moving into Spider-Man talk here, but I wanted to bring this up before Jerry gave us his review. Tom Holland, in an interview with Josh Horowitz, said, I have a really clear vision for passing on the baton. I think it's really exciting. So they have an idea. They're already, at least Tom Holland is, considering and thinking about how they could pass on the baton as Spider-Man in the MCU, which would be very different than what they've done in the past with Spider-Man in film. Now, I have not yet seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. I know Colton hasn't. I know, Jerry, you did see it. So I don't know if there's anything in that movie that could be pointing into the direction of where they could be going or not. But of course, everybody says, oh, it's got to be Miles Morales. They're going to bring in Miles Morales, which I would love to see. But I want to know, before we get into the talk of Spider-Man Brand New Day, I'm going to start with you, Colton. How would you like to see it happen? Like, do you think that he should die, or they should make a new Peter Parker, or that they bring in Miles Morales? Like, what do you think?
Oh, I'm in the same boat as you. I'd love to see Miles Morales in in his own movie that's not animated. I mean, no disrespect to the animated Spider-Man movies. They're good. But seeing a live action Miles Morales would be fan-fucking-tastic. Especially considering like Tom Holland doesn't even have to like disappear. Like he could just be a backdoor mentor. Like, hey, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Jerry, what do you think? Now, again, I don't know if Brand New Day has anything, so be careful.
I'm not going to get onto, unless when we do the review, if you want me to do spoilers, I could do it. If you don't, I cannot. But for this moment, and probably for the review, I'm not going to do spoilers. So, the movie just came out. Everyone wants to see it and enjoy it and hear about it without spoilers. I get that. But so I'm not going to allude to anything. But what I will say is I saw this walking out of the theater on round 2 today. And I was like, I'm just not ready for it. I'm not ready. It's not that I'm not ready for Miles. I'm not ready for Peter to pass the baton. He's probably my favorite superhero. And I don't know if I could. Tom Holland's just too good as Spider-Man. And he always says this kind of stuff. He always goes back and forth. Oh, I don't want to be Spider-Man forever. Oh, I'm going to be Spider-Man forever. And now we're talking about Miles. Come on, man. You want to bring Miles? Fine. But Peter, till you're 90, bro. Listen, Miles is great. I would love to see them team up. Can you imagine how much money a Spider-Man movie would do? I mean, that would be insane. So yeah, but what I always wanted to see with Miles Morales was, Miles Morales started in a different universe. He started in the Ultimate Universe, and then it was in Secret Wars. He ends up on Battle World, and that's how he ends up coming into the 616. So I always wanted to see that. I always kind of hoped that Kevin Feige and Sony would figure it out. But based on Kevin Feige's statements, they have a deal with Sony, and they're like, we're not touching that character. And I can understand that. Sony's been pretty good to Marvel with using Peter Parker, and they probably said, hey, listen, you could do X, Y, and Z. We just want to have Miles with our animated thing right now. And I think that's fair. But it really sucks if Secret Wars is going to happen and we're not going to have that iconic scene where Miles Morales gives the Molecule Man, a cheeseburger out of his back pocket. That is just so good.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I want to say something here because I believe both of you have read the 80s Secret Wars, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So what if they character swap Spider-Woman with Miles Morales in Secret Wars? Because remember, Spider-Woman just kind of pops up in Secret Wars. If you remember, she just she shows up and Peter's like, what is this? Who is this? Who is this person? But doing that with Miles Morales instead, because he is such a big established fan favorite type of character, and you wouldn't have to really do too much to do that. And then come the end of Secret Wars, that's how he ends up in the universe. Now, then you could have 1 or 2 movies with Peter and Miles then, which would be really interesting and fun. But that would be post their little trilogy of Miles Morales, the Into the Spider-Verse series. That would be after that. And I think that would be a cool way to do it. I think that would be a nice little nod. Again, well, I'm not expecting them to copy everything from the comics, but they will take liberties and adjust things. And I think that'd be a cool adjustment to make.
I can get behind it.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I'd much rather see Miles Morales than Spider-Woman, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because it's not Sabrina Carpenter, Julia Carpenter, that's her name. I had to pull it up because I couldn't remember. Who remembers her? Who remembers, honestly,
yeah.
But,
I happen to be a fan of Julia Carpenter, Madame Web. I think she's a really dope character, actually.
But again, you are somebody who reads comics and reads comics. The general audience doesn't know who Julia Carpenter is, doesn't know that there's even a Spider-Woman, whereas the general audience is getting some knowledge about Miles Morales thanks to his films, thanks to the PlayStation games, things like that. there's reason to use Miles instead of someone like
For sure.
Carpenter. So
I'd still
All
prefer Miles. I like Madam Web, but like, you know, Miles is pretty dope.
And I don't want to see anything connected to Madam Web for a long time. All right, guys, let us know your thoughts on this here, how you want to see Peter or Tom Holland pass the baton to a new Spider-Man in the future. All right, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Spider-Man Brand New Day review from yours truly, Jerry. Now, I'm going to give you a single shot here. Hold on. There you go.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, it was amazing, spectacular, incredible, even punishing at times. I would probably give it, I would say a flat 9 out of 10. You know, it was definitely the most mature adult. I don't want to say, definitely had its darker moments of a Spider-Man movie. You know, like the story was really mostly weighted about characters and emotional. And in that sense, it felt like Thunderbolts. I remember after Thunderbolts, a lot of people were saying, I would like to see more of this from Marvel. And it feels like Marvel's new style is very character driven and very emotional driven stories. You know, Peter Parker is alone, and there are the entire cast is great. There's not one actor or character that wasn't done to perfection or near perfection in this movie. And, you know, Peter's arc, it very much builds on what John Watts did with the Home trilogy, and it throws you right into where Spider-Man is today with a montage. I would say I think it's the best, you know, kind of catch-up montage done in a comic book movie ever. It's better than the one they did in Fantastic Four. It's better than the one from Across the Spider-Verse. You know, the supporting cast, Punisher was amazing. You don't really feel like he's watered down. I mean, it's definitely a bit of a lighter and more humorous version of the character, but don't take that and think like Guardians of the Galaxy humor. Nah, he's still Frank. And, you know, he worked really well with every character that he was with Spider-Man, with MJ. It was just amazing. The villains in it, you know, that's the one thing. If you're looking for a villain-centric story, this is not really a villain-centric story. It's really more about Peter Parker and diving into his, you know, Spider-Man life and putting that first. And like, you'll see in the montage, like how great of a Spider-Man he has been for a while, where, you know, he's been off screen. The music was great. The cinematography, the web slinging. I mean, this was the kind of web slinging that we saw in the opening scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. A lot of the web slinging and a lot of the combat was clearly taken from Insomniac in the best of ways. For those of you that don't know Insomniac, I'm referring to the iconic PlayStation games. The emotional impact it's probably the most emotional Marvel movie, maybe even comic book movie ever. In terms of comic accuracy, like the characters were done, like I said, so well. MJ finally felt like more of the MJ that we know from the comics, and she even looked more. I mean, you know, you've seen in the trailers they dyed her hair a hint of red. You know, she dressed more like MJ from the comics. You know, maybe that's just her evolution going to college and not being a kid in high school anymore, you know, but everything really worked. I would say the pacing in this movie, there's not a moment in this movie where you're just like, oh, get to the next scene, or it's kind of dragging here. The pacing was amazing. The structure, you know, the only things I didn't love was, and this is just my own personal expectations, a lot of the villains that were teased for the movie didn't really have full arcs. I don't want to exactly say who, But like I said, it's not really a villain-centric movie the way the home trilogies or most Spider-Man movies are, but it's a very New York City, classical, grounded Spider-Man movie. And, I remember on the old pod that I used to do, I used to always say, and I used to always argue that that's what I wanted to see from this next Spider-Man movie. And it felt like what I was saying for so long that I wanted out of this Spider-Man movie, that's what they did. So I was really happy with it. It just, and they adapted some of the other, I don't know if you're familiar with that comic, but the other is it's from the comic run that at the end of that comic run is the comic called One More Day. That was what inspired No Way Home. But in that comic, Peter has some traumatic events and his powers come stronger, but he has trouble controlling it. So you'll see that aspect. It's obviously something that's been teased in the trailers. And if you are someone who pays attention to theories and stuff like that online, there's been a lot of theories about that, but my concerns that I had with the other comes from my favorite Spider-Man run, but it was one of the down points for me in that comic run. I didn't feel that watching this movie. They did it really clean. You don't need to read the comic to enhance the story or anything like that. It didn't drag out. It was just kind of part of Peter's development as Spider-Man in the movie. It was definitely different than the home trilogy, obviously with Destin Daniel Cretton directing it, who, by the way, absolutely has the sauce. This is one of the best looking comic book movies of all time. It might even be the best looking Spider-Man movie, even above Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse. I think that might be a little bit of a personal preference there. So I understand some people like different things than others. So maybe you won't feel that way. But, I think it might be fair to say that this is, I wouldn't say it's the best Spider-Man movie ever, but I think it's fair to say it's at least in the top 3, and it's definitely the best Spider-Man movie from the MCU. I did see some people saying it felt like a comic book come to life. I have to say, as much as I love that that's kind of becoming a thing and everyone loves saying it, I feel like people say that about every movie these days, and it's not always true. No Way Home to me felt like a Spider-Man comic come to life. If you read the Dan Slott Amazing Spider-Man saga, that movie felt like that, even though it took from the J. Michael Straczynski run. It felt like a Dan Slott, big scale Amazing Spider-Man comic. This movie, there were a lot of moments that were recreated from iconic comic covers and panels. And even if you're not a comic, crazy fanatic like I am, you've seen a lot of these covers and a lot of these panels just being on social media. So you'll recognize them. You don't have to be a comic fanatic to recognize them, which I appreciate it. I think a lot of people say, oh, well, you have to read this comic to enjoy the movie. That's BS. You shouldn't have to read any comic to enjoy a movie, but obviously it could enhance things. I don't want to get into any spoilers here, because it would be one thing if we were talking about this on Monday after it, but the movie did just come out. There were a lot of emotional moments. It was really an emotional ride. And I think that what this movie set out to accomplish with Peter kind of, he tried to do something differently after No Way Home, and he learned a lot of things about life and about being Spider-Man and relationships. And then that's as much as I'll say on that. But I think it just gives Tom Holland, put it this way. In the beginning of the movie, you see Tom Holland, Spider-Man, having a fresh start, or kind of what happened after No Way Home and where he's at. Not really what happened, but where he's at today, his relationship with the city. But by the end of the movie, he comes to a different place in his relationships. And that's what I'll say. And it's totally a new era for Spider-Man. I mean, this is one of those movies that right when it ends, you want to see what's next. It had a ton of heart, a ton of humor. The action was amazing. All the shots were great. A lot of people criticize the MCU for cinematography, which a lot of that is fair. I think Destin Daniel Cretton, there's a reason he's the next talent at Marvel. It definitely feels like Marvel has a new groove again with just these character-driven, emotional stories. It's not that it sets up so much the future of the MCU. You could really enjoy this movie if you've just seen the Spider-Man movies, or even if you've just seen No Way Home, you could go into this movie and enjoy it. So there's not really that much homework, but I think what it set out to do on all these fronts, it absolutely delivered. Go see it. This movie is going to have amazing word of mouth. I think it's going to absolutely destroy it in box office, and it's going to be a Spider-Man movie that people talk about forever.
Excellent. Come on, there we go. Now tell me, out of all the Spider-Man, because you said this is the best of the Marvel ones, but out of all of them, is it the best out of all? Because you said it's top 3. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You
So
give us something better than that.
It's really difficult for me to. I always get tough ranking things when I love things because it's like picking your favorites. But I would probably say it's number 3. I would probably say Spider-Man 2, Across the Spider-Verse, and Brand New Day.
Gotcha.
I think those are the best 3 Spider-Man movies ever made.
What is really interesting is it has a 91% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. But when it comes to the audience, it has a 98% right now. Now, if I pull this up real quick, we could take a look at all of them. So you have Into the Spider-Verse is 93% from the audience. Across the Spider-Verse, 94%. No Way Home, 96%. Spider-Man 2, only an 82%. And that's considered the best by so many. Homecoming, 87%. Far From Home, 92%. Brand New Day, they must have made this before it went up to 98%, but we know it's 98% right now. The original Spider-Man, 67%. And then The Amazing Spider-Man, which is a crappy film, 77%. Spider-Man 3, which still has the best version of Venom in all of movies, 51%. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2 is at 64%. I don't care about the other movies. But it has the highest audience score out of all those movies. Out of all the movies that specifically have Spider-Man in it, it has the highest score. That to me is very telling. Like, okay, the critics are the critics. The critics they don't typically give high ratings for these big franchises anymore. Like, it's got a 91 though. Like, that's pretty high, but they're never going to get 100%, but I don't know. Colton, what do you think? What do you think about this all?
No, I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, Marvel knows you release a Spider-Man movie, it'll at least make its money back, if not more. So it's not surprising it's a good film. I mean, the MCU hasn't fumbled Spider-Man yet, so I'm not surprised.
What I also want to add is, sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Listen, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. I read every Spider-Man comic. I've read most of all of the Amazing Spider-Man comics that exist. And one thing I will say, this is a Spider-Man movie I've always wanted to see. And I think that, it's just it's the movie I've always wanted to see from Spider-Man and Marvel. And it absolutely delivers. And there's a reason Spider-Man does so well. And I'm not trying to take away from the movie when I say this, but I think a lot of this movie's success also comes down to that Spider-Man is by far, and nobody else is even close, the best managed IP in cinema. Hands down, I don't think it even comes close. I actually think he's the best managed IP, pretty much period. And the marketing and the lead up to this movie, those set photos from London, the marketing, the trailers, I think people went into this movie expecting it to be one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time, and everybody wanted to love it. And I think that's one of the reasons that everyone's being so positive about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think of like other franchises that are managed as well or better. And granted, I mean, I think the Amazing Spider-Mans were complete misses, but they got back on track. You know, even Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, I enjoy all three of them. The third one obviously is the low point of that trilogy. Then Amazing Spider-Man movies, I think, were just low points completely. But then you have the Across the Spider-Verse, and then you have the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Now, granted, if you want to add in like the Venom, the Craven, the Madam Webs, like those are all shit movies and shouldn't have ever been made to begin with. But Spider-Man as himself, I think you're right. I think it might be, because you take a look at some of these big IPs. You take a look at Star Wars. That fell flat. You take a look at Lord of the Rings. They've had trouble. You know, The Hobbit didn't do very well. The show on Amazon's wasn't doing great for a little bit. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong on that. You know, that's interesting. Very interesting.
I think it also, another big part of that is the fact that every year or every other year, there is a major Spider-Man project that comes out, whether it's a movie or a video game. Whereas since I've been a kid, like no matter what, any kid that's grown up under me, I'm 35 years old, has grown up with so many incredible Spider-Man experiences from the games and the movies. And you can't say that about Batman. Batman's had a lot, don't get me wrong, but they don't release Batman projects as well as Spider-Man, or even as frequently as Spider-Man. And if you were to think about any other character that someone would try to argue, it would be Batman. And don't get me wrong, Batman's like literally my other favorite superhero. So I get it. But, you know, when's the last time we saw a Batman movie or a Batman video game? It's 2022, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You got anything else, Colton? When you going to see it?
I'm gonna try to do it Sunday.
I'm heading out Saturday morning. We got wrestling. We got SummerSlam this weekend, so I got to go early to go see it so I don't miss SummerSlam. But yeah, I'm planning on going to see it Saturday morning.
You definitely need to get tickets now, because I'll tell you, when I was walking into the theater to scan my ticket at AMC, I opened the app and I had to wait 8 minutes. I found it in my email, thankfully, but the line was being held up because people couldn't get into their app because so many people were trying to buy tickets. Yeah.
They're saying this movie's going to make $800 million worldwide opening weekend. When was the last time we've had a movie make nearly $1 billion in opening? Never. I don't think ever. I don't even think Endgame did that, or Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like and if you guys remember, I don't know, I think it was with you guys, but I've been saying for a while that I think Spider-Man has the ability to make more money than Doomsday. And people laughed at me. People said I was wrong, but I think it could. I think it could make more money than Doomsday.
Don't say that too loud. Then you're going to have Avengers Spider-Man Doomsday.
People are more bought in on Spider-Man than they are Doctor Doom. Listen, Doctor Doom is my favorite comic book character, but it's just true. You know, there's never been, we haven't had a legit Doctor Doom movie ever, or even in the MCU, where Spider-Man, you know, you don't have that problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, while we're sitting here, let me see AMC. Let's take a look if they have anything available. I am in line. I literally just pulled it up, and I'm in line at 10:30 p.m. on the 30th, on Thursday, the day before. I'm in line to get onto the website. That is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh, now I'm being redirected. Now, luckily, where I go to see movies, it's not typically overly packed, but it very well could be. I'm just saying it very well could be right now. Because
do you come down here?
Oh yeah, that's the closest theater.
So I went to see Deadpool on a Sunday morning first showing when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, and I was one of the last 3 people because I was like, it's Sunday morning, no one's going to be here. Got one of the last 3 seats. Me and Nicole tried to see the Odyssey last weekend, and we couldn't find a seat even at 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
That's crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
I mean,
gonna be
it's
packed.
still they're still not full. They're still not full for Saturday, but I should probably tomorrow get. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of front row seats that are open.
Yeah. No, that's how the Odyssey was last weekend. The first 2 rows were open, nothing else was.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. It's gonna. Hey, I mean, I just want to see it, so I don't care where I sit. Like, I'll go watch it. But it's still nuts that, like, even down in Morgantown, West Virginia, it's getting sold out like that. That's crazy.
Way to dox me. Way to dox me.
All right, let's move on here. DC, we got some DC talk now. If you remember a couple weeks ago, let's change the banner here before it looks stupid. What am I doing? I broke it. Show. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, there was some talk that Tom Brittany was going to be Batman, or that John Campea had some information and news about who Batman is going to be in the DCU. Stop it. I keep breaking it. There we go. Now, somebody just went on Threads and
Bob died.
Oh, he got silly stringed.
He's shooting webs. He got too excited. He's shooting rope.
Yeah.
It's all covered in cobwebs.
Oh, man.
And even the face it froze on, he nutted.
He had a traumatic experience.
It's okay. I understand.
Yeah.
I guess it's our turn to pick this up, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess someone went on Threads and asked James Gunn if Batman has been casted yet. And it looks like he said D and bunked. Yeah. I'm assuming and must be playing Batman. I have to assume.
Yeah. Ends, Ansel ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Bob straight up died. His internet died on him.
It kind of sucks that Batman hasn't been cast yet. Like, listen, I understand that the DCU, I don't think it would have been the right move to start the DCU off with Batman, because the second you put in Batman, all the other characters become secondary. And if you want fans to be bought in to other characters like Superman, you got to put Superman out before Batman. I get that. But Batman needs a movie announcement pretty soon.
Yeah. It's like we're getting to the point where, I know this is going to be a bad metaphor, but it's like you're playing Xbox, but you're only using your left hand.
Yeah. No,
like that's where we're getting to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And they're not even choosing to play PlayStation. They're choosing to play Xbox.
Hey. Don't get carried away now.
Yeah. It's just like, I get they don't want to rush it, and they don't want to rush all the big characters, because you need to save them to introduce them as times goes on. You can't just have everyone at once and then new characters aren't exciting anymore. That's a big part of it. And I don't think a lot of fans understand that. And ironically, it's all the fans that say, oh, let me do it. Let me handle DC. Let me make a movie, even though I don't know anything about how movies are made. But they definitely Batman. They definitely need sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean we're kind of getting to the point where it's like Supergirl's cool, Spider-Man, Superman's cool. We need another staple. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be Batman. It could be Wonder Woman. It could be, I'm a fan of Martian Manhunter. I think a Martian Manhunter movie would be dope.
I agree.
You got some side characters. You got to introduce someone else now. Like, especially, like, Supergirl didn't do too well. Let's face it, or well at all. It didn't really do good. But
yeah.
So it's time to bring in another heavy hitter.
No.
And also, I like how Ron said John Campea killed Bob. He really did. Normally, he's back by now. Bob's just straight up died.
Yeah.
What else did Ron say? Do you think Spider-Man Brand New Day could finish in the top three highest grossing movies of all time? Probably.
Yeah, I think if it does the 800 mil that it's supposed to this weekend, which by the way, for a while that tracking it seemed to be wasn't coming from anyone legit. But let's see. Let's see what Spider-Man Brand New Day is tracking to do now.
I think it has. If it hits the 800 million opening weekend, it's definitely
100%.
going to hit top 3.
Yeah.
If not the highest of all time.
Crazy because Marvel's coming out of a slump. It's not like Avengers Endgame just happened. And it's not like they have Toby and Andrew like they did in Brand New Day that did 1.3. But this movie is amazing. And by the way, Brand New Day, you know, I used to say Brand New Day is the best Spider-Man. No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie. I have a feeling after I see it the third time, I might say Brand New Day is the best one. I'm going for the third time on Saturday. Slav, are you back?
Kind of. I'm on my phone. My internet is slowly coming back up right now, so I'll be back on. But
it's the disembodied voice of God right now.
Yeah.
And then Ron also said, "Does the DCU Batman need to wear?" And the DCU Batman needs to wear trunks.
Oh no! I'm sorry, but like superheroes are supposed to look cool, and when you wear underwear over pants, you look like Captain Underpants. And I don't know if you know this, but Captain Underpants isn't fucking cool. Okay, sorry, not sorry. Underwear over pants, whack.
Yeah, I mean that would have been cool, like in the 80s, not in 2020, probably 2030. Let's face it, it's not cool. Let's see an armored Batman.
Yeah, when people were still jazzercising and shit.
Yeah, like Richard Simmons isn't releasing VHSs anymore. So
yeah, you know, like I don't need to see She-Hulk wearing Jordan 5 grapes, you know. I don't need to see She-Hulk at all, actually. You know?
I'm dying. I'm sorry.
Oh. Sorry, Ron. Don't take that personally. I'm just trying.
All right, I'm back now. All right.
Hey, we did pretty good that time. We weren't caught off on our toes that time.
See, you just got to expect this is going to happen once a show now, because I don't understand why my internet is the worst internet in the history of internets. So, anyways.
I'm telling you, you got to go to FiOS. I'll explain.
If I had FiOS around me, if I had fiber optic around me, I don't. Right. I only have old broadband. Hell, I worked for a fiber optic company a couple months ago, and they are 20 minutes down the road from me, but they're not here.
Oh, so that's annoying.
Yeah, it definitely is. But anyways, I was talking about the James Gunn debunking, as he said, and bunked when it comes to them having cast Batman in the DCU. I want to ask you guys, do you think we need to get over this idea that Batman's going to be coming anytime soon? Do you think that it's a big problem with DC and that they need to make it happen? What do you think? Let me know.
Bob, go back about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'll use my metaphor again. It's like you're playing Xbox and you're playing with your left hand. They need to introduce another staple at this point. Not necessarily Batman, maybe Wonder Woman. I'm on board with Martian Manhunter, but someone else.
You know, and I said Green Lantern's coming in a month, but like I understand why you start with Superman, because if you start with Batman, people are never going to be bought into Superman. And you don't want to introduce all the characters at once because the DCU is set to go on for a while, and you need to save characters to introduce them as time progresses. But, you know, with the discourse and the way everything's been going down with the DCU lately, the bat signal, the DCU, the Gotham, the DCU's bat signal is calling because the DCU needs Batman.
Yeah. Ron says, Slav, do you want to see Trunks on the DCU Batman? I don't care. I'm sorry. Like this whole trunks, no trunks debate that was going on with Superman. I'm not a purist. I'm not a not purist. I'm just somebody that says, you know what? I want to see a good suit. I don't care what they're wearing. Just give me the Bat logo on it, the Superman logo on it, and let's go to town and make a good story, a good movie, and I'll be happy. I don't want it to be a shitty costume. I don't want it to be a motorcycle outfit like the X-Men wore in the 2000s. But I wanted to just fit the character, the universe, and the story that they're telling. That's all. Like, I mean, it is what it is. People get so hung up on the way a suit will look. It just, I don't know. I think it gets ridiculous. I do. I just think it's kind of like, I want to know who the casting is, who's directing, who's writing. That's all I really care about right now. And then show me him. Like, show me him as Bruce Wayne. Show me him as Batman. I want to see, does he really look like Batman? And then I want to see the movie and the story. Like, that's it. That's that. Like, in that order, that's how I want to see it. I don't care what the suit is.
I agree. I most of the time, I don't care about the suit. As long as it's decent, I'm fine. And I think that there are, like, I don't know, if you're like a kid and you don't like the suit, maybe you can't enjoy the movie. But as long as the suit's decent and it works. I will say, though, like with the visuals of Spider-Man Brand New Day and how good that suit looks, it definitely was a major plus. But like, if he was wearing the Stark suit, the movie still wouldn't have made sense for the story. But you get my point. It would have been just as good. Like the suit doesn't make the movie. Exactly.
And then Ron also says it is a massive problem. Batman is the biggest asset for DC. They have to bring Batman fast. And I agree. Like Colton was saying, or maybe it was Jerry, it makes sense to introduce Superman. It does. But you need to have your strongest asset, your strongest pull, your strongest get into that franchise, get into that universe. I get that they're doing the Robert Pattinson movie that I really couldn't care less about, which I will watch. I will, because I'm a big Batman fan. I just didn't like the first one. And I know that's going on, but there's no reason why you can't introduce this Batman, get people excited about this universe's Batman. I know that Superman is the pillar, the main pillar of this universe. But again, I keep saying this. We are 4 years into James Gunn running this studio, and he doesn't have a Batman yet. He doesn't have a Wonder Woman yet. And by the time they do come out with these characters, he'll be in it probably 6 years, 7 years. That's not good. That's a bad look for James Gunn. And that's not saying I don't trust what James Gunn is doing. I'm just saying maybe some of his priorities aren't where they need to be when it comes to the big names for the universe.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all for DC talk. Next up, we got other happenings in pulp culture. It sounds like a Jeopardy topic.
It does. It sounds like it sounds like a television program.
That would be a good one-off episode to just set up a Jeopardy game.
Yeah, that'd be so
Sure, I'll be the one jackass that doesn't score any points. I'll be the host because I think that's the most beneficial way for me to be in part of that game.
Who's going to be the Sean Connery of the group? Is that going to be you, Colton?
Yeah, I'll be Sean Connery.
If you get the SNL reference. All right. Anyway, that was when SNL was cool.
I'd much rather be the Tom Hanks, but.
When he was the MAGA
yeah,
guy.
the MAGA on blackjack.
Kenan Thompson was pretty.
I broke bomb. Hasn't happened in a while.
It was one of the rare instances where SNL hit it perfectly. Anyways, going on to the topic here. Disney apparently has met with Macaulay Culkin, because people care about Macaulay Culkin nowadays, about a new Home Alone movie. That's right. Culkin pitched for the film had Kevin as a single dad who gets locked out of the house by his estranged son. The house is sort of a metaphor for our relationship, he says. Okay, look. I love the first Home Alone. I think I like Home Alone 2 better. And then after that, they all sucked. Granted, I think it was Home Alone 3 had Scarlett Johansson as a little kid in it. But honestly, no Home Alone has been good since the second one. I think they have like 5 or 6 total. I would not mind them coming back to bringing in Macaulay Culkin's character into it and having Kevin as a main plot point in it. I think it would be interesting for sure. I think it sucks because Catherine O'Hara, passed away about a year ago. So that would be unfortunate. Or was it earlier this year? I don't remember. So she wouldn't be able to be in it. But I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I want to see this, but there's also a part of me like, do we really need this? So, Colton, what do you think?
I don't think this needs to be done. Let's see. Fuller House sucks ass.
Bullshit. Take that back.
No, it sucks ass. Girl Meets World sucks ass. The Roseanne, whatever the remake of that one was, sucks ass. The Connors sucks ass. Everything that came back from the 80s and 90s that they were like, oh, we're going to, adultify it and bring in new characters, but we're going to hang on nostalgia, sucks ass. Let's not do it.
All right. Jerry, what do you think?
I'm kind of with Colton. Like, I don't think that this is a good idea. I don't even think it sounds good. I like the idea of bringing Macaulay Culkin back and doing a Home Alone. And, he obviously had it rough in his adolescence and a young adult, and it finally seems like he has his life together now. So I think it would be great to make a new Home Alone movie. But if they're going to do it, like, they're taking a major risk, because if it's bad, it could, I don't think it'll ever, actually, I don't know if it's a risk, because even if it is bad, it's not going to tarnish the legacy of Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Really. So I guess why not? But I don't like the.
you just talked yourself into it. You're like, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be one of those like, oh, the family's over, the kids are opening gifts. Yeah, let's throw on this one since it's new and on the top of Disney Plus to play in the background. That's what it'll be.
Yeah. But hey, why not? Like, I think I'm leaning more towards for it than against it. Again, I'm a sucker for those first two. They're a staple in my household every holiday season. When it's Christmas time, it's Elf, it's the Home Alone films. Like, those happen. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Those are like the staples in the household now. But yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards it. Maybe let me know in the comments though, everyone. Let me know. What do you think? Is this a movie you want to see? Do you think it's a mistake? Let us know in the comments. Next up, we got Peacock. The cock will be bundled with YouTube Premium starting in early 2027.
Sorry, I even saw it in the notes, and I still laughed. I told myself I wouldn't laugh, and I fucking laughed. Sorry.
It's not this one, but it works.
It's a premium cock subscription,
That's what they need to call it, premium cock.
Yeah. Peacock, premium cock, nice.
But it will be marking the NBC streamer's biggest wholesale distribution deal to date. The bundle will be in addition to the existing, alongside the existing, what variety? Existing YouTube Premium plan, which costs $15.99 a month and includes ad-free YouTube, background play, offline downloads, and YouTube Music. Pricing has not been announced. Now, here's the thing. Peacock might be the lowest. Maybe Paramount might be a little lower than Peacock when it comes to content that is driving subscribers. Because at the top, you got Netflix, you got HBO. Those are like the big dogs. Apple is really good too. Like, they have some quality shows on Apple. I'm thinking Ted Lasso, Shrinking, For All Mankind, and what was that? The big one, was it Severance? Like, there's so many big ones on Apple.
You forgot the big one, Monarch. Duh.
Monarch, yeah, I forgot about Monarch. But so, like, I'm looking at those as the big ones. This makes sense for Peacock because, one, let's not forget what's going on with YouTube right now. YouTube has become basically like a channel that people watch on their home televisions now. People literally get YouTube Premium and watch YouTube on their television. I do. Like, I'm a sucker for Financial Audit. Like, that show, I can't get enough of it. I'm sorry. Like, I typically hate all the drama-filled stuff from like reality TV. This is a little bit different, but if you've never watched Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer, you got to give it a shot. It is hilarious. I sent you guys a TikTok yesterday.
Yeah, I watch his little TikToks every once in a while when they pop up.
They're great. Like, he's hilarious, and it's just like watching a TV show. That's what it is. You put on these channels that you watch. I'm a big tech guy. I love watching tech videos. So adding the possibility of getting Peacock alongside of it for probably like an additional $5-10 more, maybe that's what it'll be. That's enticing to people. That's going to help Peacock kind of get into more homes and more people watch it. Do either of you have Peacock? Like, for me, I watch Peacock. Like, right now I'm watching Supernatural, and that's on Peacock, but that's an old show. I can't think of a new show that's on Peacock that I sit there and say, I got to watch that every week. But do you guys watch Peacock? Do you think this is a good idea? Jerry, you go first this time.
I don't watch Peacock. I think I had it once to watch the John Wick spinoff, The Continental, the prequel.
Yeah,
it was all right. But I don't have Peacock, but I do have YouTube Premium, and I don't even really watch YouTube that much, but I just know when I do, I don't want to deal with ads. And one of the things that's made you, and I don't really I listen to music a little bit. I'm more of a podcast guy these days, and I used to love rap. I don't love rap, but what makes YouTube Premium such a good deal for me is that you get YouTube Music for free with it. So I don't have to pay for Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that. So I think YouTube needs to do more of that. I think that they will both benefit from this deal a lot, because streaming services keep going up in price. We were talking about this literally 2 days ago. We were all like, oh, we all felt like we need to cut out some of our streaming services, because I mean, if you have them all, it's much more expensive than cable TV, which was the whole purpose, was you get on demand for cheaper, and it's not what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Twisted Metal was on there too. Don't forget about Twisted Metal. That was a that's
good?
A fun show. It's not bad. I'm not going to sit there and say it's like high quality, but it's enjoyable.
I will open your eyes, buy a VC box. You'll thank me later. I think I get Peacock for free with Xfinity. I think I've never once logged into it or used it, but there's just nothing on Peacock. What, The Office was on there once upon a time.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I would have cared to watch on there.
Oh, you didn't watch The Paper?
No. And no, that's another one why Home Alone shouldn't come back. The Paper, it probably sucks.
Colton's favorite?
Yeah, that one we were talking about, premium cock.
Yeah, you gotta love the premium cock. Thank you, Dominique Anderson. Thank you,
Dominique. I just love that YouTube's trying to spread the cock around. Get the cock into every household humanly possible.
You get a cock. You get a cock. You get a cock.
Everybody gets a cock.
All right, but let us know your thoughts down below, what you think about this potential merger. But on to another merger. The Warner Brothers Paramount deal has hit a snag. It is officially blocked for probably at least a year at this point, as they will be going to trial to what is it, like 6 to 12 states or something like that is trying to block this, and they're like, hey, we don't want this to happen. And the judge was like, okay, well, we're going to put a halt to this deal. It cannot close until this trial is over. This trial, maybe they could speed it up and get it done within a handful of months, but typically this kind of stuff takes around a year. That leads us to the whole thing where Paramount will have to pay the shareholders of Warner Brothers millions and millions of dollars each quarter that this deal isn't closed. Basically,
a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And even if they want to walk away from this, they would have to pay $9.8 billion, $7 billion to Warner Brothers, and I guess $2.8 billion to Netflix. I don't know why that is. Or maybe that's because, no, didn't they already pay 2.8 to Netflix? So I think they already paid that. So it would be $7 billion termination fee to Warner Brothers. I don't know if this deal gets done. I don't know at this point. I have a funny feeling that Warner Brothers and Netflix planned this. I just have this weird feeling that like they planned this. Netflix was like, yeah, well, screw it, we're good, we're walking away. And they knew this was going to happen, or they manipulated things to make it happen. And essentially what David Ellison has done has just thrown out $10 billion for nothing. He's given money to Netflix, he's given money to Warner Brothers, and it's going to help pay down some of their debt and make it so Netflix can just swoop in and say, yoink, mine, and take what they wanted from Warner Brothers to begin with. What do you think, Colton? Do you think this deal gets done? Do you think it's...
I don't think it does. I don't think it does. We're just kicking the can down the road for the inevitable. That, and I also wish I had $10 billion to just kind of piss away.
For real. For real. Jerry, how do you feel about this?
I really wanted this to go through, and now I feel like it doesn't. And what's crazy about it is that Netflix walked away, Paramount did it. Netflix was in a much better position for the kind of situation that Paramount's in. And Paramount, I wouldn't be surprised if they have major issues after this, because they're wasting a lot of money for absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate, really. Now, here's the crazy thing, because the scary part, the idea about this, why people are so like, we don't want this to happen. One of the big things was there's not going to be enough films being made to be put in theaters, causing people to lose their jobs and move on and have to move on to different careers and such. However, what's interesting is Adam Aaron, the chief of AMC Theaters, is pushing for the Paramount Warner Brothers merger to happen. And he says thanks but no thanks to them blocking the deal. His whole thing is he believes that this is for the better of the industry. He thinks it's going to help the theatrical business as well as Hollywood. I don't think Adam Aaron is really in much of a place to push his ideas because of how poorly AMC has been run for a while. But I think it's something that some people should take a look at a little closer, because as I've said before, all right, David Ellison is promising 30 movies a year, 15 from each company, which would be Warner Brothers and Paramount, which would be more than what we got this year from both of them together. So when they do that, that would help create jobs. Now, honestly, we're not talking about 30 movies where they all cost $100 million. We're talking about low budget movies. We're talking about some artsy films, things like that. Obviously, that'll probably be a quarter or more of those movies that come out, and you would probably have somewhere between 10 movies, maybe 9, 10, 11, something like that are more of the higher budget, big blockbuster, big viewership getters type of things. I still think that's better than what we have now. I kind of think that people need to sit there and listen to this. I don't know, like, what is it that you think, Colton, because you're the one that's like, I don't think this is going to happen. Why do you think it won't happen? Like, what is it? You don't think that Paramount will sit down with these attorney generals and say, hey, let's make a deal? What will make it so we can make this deal go through? Do you think they're just going to dig their heels in and say, no, we don't want this to happen at all? And why? Well, what do you think?
I genuinely think it's just the politics of the world we're in today. the attorney generals are going to dig in and say, we don't want this to happen unless you meet these insane, unrealistic goals that we have set for you. Just plain and simple. And even in the perfect world, what we want done isn't going to happen, no matter what you do.
And Jerry, why do you want it to happen?
I think politically, I think that, we have had, one side of the ideological spectrum has pretty much had a monopoly on cinema in this country. And I think that the opposing ideas of the other side of the spectrum should finally have some sway. And if they're willing to buy Warner Brothers, make more jobs, make more movies, I think that's a fair argument to do it. And I think that most of the people that are against it because they disagree with me politically. And, it is what it is. But for the attorney generals to do it, I agree with Colton. I think that's all this is about. Most of the states doing this are blue states, and people freak out about this. I mean, I remember when this was first announced and I said on X that I was for it. Like, I had a mutual of mine that I was friends with freak out on me and unfollowed me. He was like, never talk to me again, kind of thing. People are very, very emotional about this deal. And it's crazy to me because it's like, you guys literally control everything. And you're like, oh, well, it's a monopoly. Please spare me. You guys love monopolies when they work in your favor.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Like, I was all for Paramount at first, and then when Netflix came into the whole thing, and I was against it, but I started listening to some other people talk about it, and I was like, maybe I'm being swayed to wanting Netflix to get it. But then I sat back again, and I just reevaluated, and while I wouldn't hate Netflix getting it, I think Paramount was the better option. I just don't know if that's going to happen at this point, because I think it's more like Colton saying, the politics behind it, and there's so much that's just so much money that they're going to lose, and they're not going to want to. I think they'll let it go until maybe the first quarter of 2027 before they say, you know what, here's your $7 billion. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll walk away.
Yeah. But, I kind of think so too. And I think Zaslav's going to take a W on it because, he worked out a great deal for Warner Brothers. And the thing is also, like, people have to understand, Zaslav didn't have a choice. If he didn't take the deal, he was going to get sued. And it's really hard to argue $109 billion isn't in the best interest of shareholders.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Jedi Liker Flex says, if anyone, I'd rather Netflix get Warner or just state owned. I think everybody wants it to stay its own company, but it's just not going to happen. Ron says, cry me a river, because if Paramount takes over, they will do media censorship. That's not true at all.
Companies do media censorship. What are you
liberal companies, conservative companies, everybody tries to do that. But let's not forget, people seem to forget this. The Ellisons backed the Democratic nominee in the last presidential election. They backed the Democrat nominee, not Donald Trump. Now, when Donald Trump got into office, just as all businessmen do, even people like Tim Cook from Apple, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, all these big corporate guys, they start to rub shoulders with who's in charge, because you rub my back, or I rub your back, you rub my back. You do something for me if I do something for you. And that's how it works. Everybody thinking that the Ellisons are some like conservative, trap to get in there and let's censor CNN. Well, yeah, CNN's shit. So it shouldn't be censored. It should just be taken off the air completely, because whether you're liberal or conservative, you take a look at that station, it is the worst. And yeah, I know people are going to want to say Fox News is the worst, but I'm not saying Fox News is any better, but it's not as bad as CNN. CNN is terrible. So again, when you get down to it, sure, let them take CNN off the air. Who the hell cares? You still have MSNBC and you still have everything else. Like you have all these other outlets. Where they sent, Paramount has had CBS, has had this company now for a couple years. Where's the censorship coming from? Colbert getting fired? His ratings were in the shitter. So there's no evidence pointing that they're going to be censoring, the media when they take over. This is just some scare tactic that people are using to try and kill this deal. And that's the problem that I have with it. So again, let's try and step back from the politics of it all and see that it's probably a good deal, because Warner Brothers is getting sold regardless. It's either going to get sold as a whole company or in parts. And this would have kept the company together in whole. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Warner Brothers is such a great opportunity for a larger company right now, because they're in a vulnerable position, not as vulnerable as a couple of years ago, but still pretty vulnerable. And they are an IP powerhouse. And again, we live in a world with an IP dominant cinematic.
And as Powerful says, they only did that because Biden was bankable back then. Exactly. That's what corporate heads do. They don't care who's in charge. They will be buddy-buddy with whomever's in charge to get what they want and what they need. It's that simple. So to sit there and act like the Ellisons are diehard conservatives, maybe they are, but there's been no proof in how they've run Paramount so far that points to that being the case. That's what I'm trying to say. And, again, people are on here saying media censorship, conservatives if dictatorial, especially now with a fascist government. We don't have a fascist. I live in America. I don't know if you do, Ron. I live in America. There's no fascist government here.
I did not see this getting political like this.
So, Powerful says, my dude, I'm a conservative and Paramount are right wing. Okay, again, that I'm not saying that they're not, but what I'm trying to explain is that it's not for Trump. It's not for Biden. It's not for the conservative angles, because they have not proven through Paramount that look, come on. Like I keep saying, look at Star Trek. They're allowing Star Trek to be the wokest show that there is.
That's a great
if they
point.
were so right, if they were so right wing and so conservative and worried about that, those shows would have been canceled long ago. But they're not, because they're not censoring that stuff. Like that's the thing that I just don't understand. I don't. Okay, I gotta stop.
That was my fault. But it's hard to not talk about politics with this deal.
Yeah. Really
and to back both of your points, if there was a third party in our government that was in charge, like Bernie Sanders won hypothetically socialism, the Socialist Party was the president at that time, everybody would be freaking out because everybody's backing socialism. It doesn't matter. It's whoever's in charge. The neo-Nazi party could hold the presidency, and everybody would be Nazis in the media. Like that's just how it is.
It's kind of like Ricky Gervais said, it's like it was the Golden Globes. He's like, and if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agents,
Yeah, like it's not about politics. It's about like, can I get a tax break? Can I get a government funding thing? I don't really care.
Can you scratch my back? Can I scratch yours? The funny thing about my back is it's located on my cock.
That's a super bad reference.
Anyway, so we are going to jump over to video game talk. I wanted to bring this up pretty big. I had a pretty big first. What the hell am I saying? I don't know. Anyways, so I actually haven't played the new missions on Halo yet. I wanted to play through the whole campaign first, just to get those member berries back before I jumped into that, and I haven't quite finished yet. But apparently there's a girl boss as a Marine in these new missions, and people are freaking out about it. Apparently, let's see, this coming from Geeks and Gamers, the end result is a cliche girl boss telling the player how terrible they are in a game where your primarily male audience is already very skeptical of forced social politics. Wow, so much politics going on in this show.
All right, I will keep this not political. I'm a centrist. I lean. I don't give a shit. It's another old person in office telling me how much I'm paying in taxes while the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. I stay in the middle. This could be either way. I kind of seen some TikToks about it. It's like, maybe she's just a cunt, you know?
Yeah.
Or, maybe she is a girl boss. I haven't played the game yet, so I have really no context outside of TikToks about it.
But why then can you not kill the women in the game?
Well, that's because...
But the men are one-shot kills.
Almost something came out that was really bad.
You know what, Slav? The women are just so strong that they're bulletproof.
Lost viewers. We lost viewers, I think.
Oh.
No, honestly, I just want to say this. First off, I haven't played that part of the campaign yet, so I don't know. Jerry, I'll let you talk in a second. I don't know if it's really like girl boss or what. This video I'm showing here of them shooting the women and not dying, but the men dying. There was other videos that came out that shows that it's just the hitbox that they created for these unplayable characters, and if you shoot them in a certain way, they do actually die. It's just people try to find stuff out of anything and everything to try and complain and bitch about stuff. Look, I'm enjoying Campaign Evolved. It's fun. It's given me the member berries from when I was younger, when I was in high school playing the first Halo. I love it for that. But yeah, people are just looking too far into it. Jerry, what is your thoughts?
I haven't played it yet just because I moved into a new apartment and I don't play video games without my full setup. And one of my sound bars is getting fixed from Samsung right now. It's a pain in the ass. They're actually replacing it. Whatever. Anyway, I am going to play this game. I'm super hyped about this game. But I'm probably not going to I'll probably still play the pre-missions because I'm going to enjoy the game and I'm going to want to play as much of it as possible. But it's just more of the same from the gaming industry. Seems like they can't help themselves with this kind of thing. And, people like us online are going to criticize it. It's kind of a, broken record at this point. Like, it is what it is. But kind of back to what we were talking about before, it's like it always goes in this direction. It's never our direction.
No.
This is as simple as their background characters are probably like just the hitboxes under the floor. They're not meant to be fucked with. You're supposed to see them and keep walking.
Powerful says Slav, how I'm guessing you're asking how am I right wing and love Superman from 2025. Hey, join my show next week and ask me during my show on Slav's Free Talk. You can join the movie watch or my watchtower and ask me there. I'll dive into it because I don't think that Superman is woke like people think, but hey, it is what it is. Let's see. Did you add anything? You did.
Yeah, I added this. We don't really have to dive too far into it because it is just in like the beta. Well, I don't want to call it beta, but they're doing like that test period right now. So if you have Game Pass, obviously you can stream to your PC or your phone or, whatever you want to stream to. Apparently now you have to watch a 2-minute ad before you can play for an hour. And then you watch another 2 or 4 or 5 minute ad. Then you play for another hour. That is the general gist of this, which again, it's in its test period. It may not ever happen, but I only shared this because it shows that Xbox is starting to get real desperate.
Yeah, they are. Definitely are. I got nothing to say about it. It just pisses me off.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on off of that, we're gonna hit Comics Corner, Comics Cuts Corner.
Oh, this is going to get
3
political
too.
Sorry, chat. Sorry.
Yeah, it was pre-planned and we didn't know it was going to get like that. But anyway, so Dennis Camp, who is a very popular writer, and I think he is the biggest hack in comics. Okay, he is just not a good writer. He is redundant with his themes. He has no character development or progression, and he is super popular. And I really think it's just because most of the comics community happens to be woke and they love his super radical. And when I tell you super radical, this is the guy that tweeted missed again when Trump, the last Trump assassination attempt. This guy tweeted missed again. Okay. So that's where we're at. Anyway, he got put on this new Batman book called Shadow of the Bat. And I'm telling you right now, just from the Could you scroll to the top so I can see? Thanks. Yeah. So basically, an abandoned Ace Chemical factory mysteriously explodes, bathing a Gotham neighborhood in highly potent and complete unknown neuropharmacological agents. Now, keep in mind, this is the guy that did the Ultimates. So the Ultimates was all about the big bad evil corporation running America behind the by its strings. That's what he's going to do here. And the reason that this is such a bad choice is that Batman is inherently conservative. Batman is wealthy. He is inherited a lot of wealth. He does a lot of good philanthropic work for the city as Bruce Wayne. He's also the hero as Batman. And someone like him, I'm telling you, Dennis Camp looks as Batman as a cultural target. The way that James Bond is a cultural target, and people wanted to make James Bond, Jamie Bond, even though they don't watch James Bond, they still cared about James Bond becoming female, even though they're not a fan. And the reason for that is because it's a political and cultural target. And it's the same thing with Batman for someone like Dennis Camp. And if you read the rest of this, I mean, that's what the guy's going to do. There's going to be no character progression on Batman. And let me tell you, I'm not saying this because I hate Dennis Camp. I'm also saying it because he is a shitty writer. He is a hack. He is untalented. And I think that he knows it. You know why I think he knows it? Because when I criticize his writing, very specifically on Twitter, you know what he does? He blocks me, okay? First, he removed me as a follower, which is, I found out later, is called a soft block. So you have to block someone, then unblock them to remove them as a follower. And then later on, he fully blocked me. But I'm telling you that it sucks because, first of all, his partner, Javier Rodriguez, is a brilliant artist. I mean, obviously, the art looks incredible. If you saw the art that Javier Rodriguez did on Absolute Martian Manhunter, it was amazing. But Dennis Camp is just the worst choice for Batman. You don't want someone like him writing Batman. And that's why I think he is going to botch it bad. And that's why I always say the correction to Dennis Camp's professional reputation will continue. But, and I'm not someone that can't enjoy media if it's woke or if it's liberal. That, I still read The Ultimates. And when everyone hated on his Ultimate Endgame, I actually gave it some praise. So I think it's important to address that. Most of the comics writers are pretty woke. So a lot of comics are woke. It is what it is. But I could still enjoy it. I don't just dislike Dennis Camp because he's woke. There's a lot of woke writers that I happen to really like. I have some woke friends. I think Dennis Camp is a crappy writer. And I think he's too much of a radical at the same time. And I think that this is like a political project for him more than an art project.
And that's been your Comics Cuts Corner.
Boy, we need honestly more white in the mood.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know much about this, so I'm not going to even talk on it. But reading all of what was in this post does kind of worry me for sure. Okay, let's do something here. Let's go to our main topic, which is we got about 10-ish minutes to talk about.
Oh shit! I'm the only one here.
There we go. Oh wait! You want to be the only one?
No,
okay.
Don't do that. Oh, son of a bitch! I'm here. Oh, who's back? Oh, everybody's back. Oh god! Now we're moving around.
It's the multiverse. We're all colliding.
Oh shit! Even my tabs are moving. Oh god.
So I got to ask everybody because we started the prepping for Doomsday last week with the first trailer coming out and dropping. But now I have to ask, what does this film, not just Doomsday, but Secret Wars, have to bring to the table? What do they need to do? Now, I'm versed in the Secret Wars comic runs. I know, Jerry, you are. Colton, you partially are. Or maybe all the way, I don't know. And we know that. But then we also know that the MCU has been struggling for a number of years. Yes, here and there, getting big hits, Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man, That's about it. But besides that, like, what else, or what do they need to bring to the table for these next two Avengers films to actually, like, get people excited again? I want to start with Jerry on this one.
I would say the first and foremost is Doctor Doom needs to be generational. Doctor Doom needs to be superior to Thanos. I might even say Doctor Doom needs to be the greatest comic book live action villain of all time. I think that there's so much riding on that specific factor because there's a lot of people that think it's just a cash grab. You only brought RDJ back because he was going to bring you hype and he was going to bring box office. So you need to show people that that's not the only reason you brought RDJ back. Like, you need to make those people, you need to win those people over on RDJ as Doctor Doom, number one. Number two, you also need people to be bought into the heroes. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of new heroes that you brought in through the multiverse saga. Most of them landed really poorly. Thankfully, I think the big ones are going to be Steve Rogers, the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts. And most people seem to really like those characters, or at least some or half or whatever. But I do think that that's a big factor as well because how poorly the multiverse saga was received. And I think that they need to be very clear about the stakes and what the concept is going into Secret Wars, meaning the incursions and a lot of the stuff that the buildup has been kind of scarce and inconsistent. They need to establish everything. Like, a lot of people are talking, oh, well, the buildup, there's not a real buildup to Doctor Doom. Forget the buildup to Doctor Doom. We don't really know anything about Marvel incursions and how they fully work. I mean, we know a bit, but we don't know everything. And I think that's a big factor too. And for Secret Wars, I think Secret Wars needs to balance. I think everything I just said is part of Secret Wars as well. But Secret Wars above that has another factor that I think a lot of people aren't talking about. And the Secret Wars story is a real deep, complex character analysis of Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. I think you not only need to figure out how to have that, but also a way to balance that with the larger than life spectacle story that Avengers movies are known for. Because a lot of the Secret Wars story isn't like those big battles that we saw in Infinity War or in Endgame. And I think you have to figure out how to balance those two.
Colton.
Yay, it's me. So I'm going to agree with Jerry's one point here where you do have to balance Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. Oh, stop it. God damn it. Reed Richards' relationship. And I do think you're going to have to split that up across these two films. Like Doomsday, you're going to have to whether you tell half the story, dive into certain parts of the story. Because to be frank, if you're going to try to cram everything in Secret Wars into one film, it's just not possible.
My name is Robert, not Frank.
But I think Doomsday will be fine. I think we're going to get a lot of plot drops. We're going to get disposition drops. Just, hey, this happened. Now here's 15 minutes explaining what kind of is going to happen or is happening off screen, which is fine. There's been no build up. It's going to be what it's going to be. Just make the characters sound good. And Doom cannot have the Marvel, hey, you're the villain for this movie. We're going to kill you at the end of it. Sorry. Or
It's
hey,
happening.
you're the big bad. You just take the back seat for the next 15 years. Sorry.
It's happening.
It probably will. But Secret Wars needs to. Sorry, Pedro flop cow. But Secret Wars, you need to use that film as your launching point. Yeah, Secret Wars is cool. You can introduce certain characters and kill off certain characters and lay out your foundation, because what would come after Secret Wars? You're going to have another big Avengers team up somewhere down the line. and you can introduce those new characters there, and they don't have to have their own films. You can make TV shows. You can, do whatever you need to do, because you can introduce a shitload of characters, and you have 3 hours to do it. So the pacing of both of these movies needs to be the highest thing in my opinion, to make them successful for the overall universe.
All right. So I agree with both of you in quite a lot, because I really believe that Doom has to be generational. I think that they can't do the Marvel thing where they introduce a villain and then he's gone. But the problem is I don't see that happening, because I don't see them keeping Robert Downey Jr. around for another 10 years. I just don't see it. Not just money, but like, he's 60 some years old. Like, he's not going to want to, he's not going to want to be doing this forever. I mean, maybe he will, but
after it.
Yeah. So who knows? Like, so that, to me, that's why I hate that they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. But what does this have to do? I think it has to do a couple things. It needs to bring to the table this idea that what they did the last 6 years was not all for naught. Like, they have to say, this, what we did, while it wasn't successful, is it has purpose. Like, they have to give those new characters that they introduced, those stories that they created, they have to give it purpose, because they were unable to do it in the build up to this. They're going to have to do it retroactively somehow. Otherwise, when you start watching new people jump into the MCU and start with Iron Man and go Iron Man 2, Hulk, all the way up through all these movies, they're going to hit Endgame, and they essentially could then just skip 6 years of projects and jump right to Doomsday. And I think that would suck. Honestly, I think that would suck, because you need to give reason for it. So I think that's the biggest thing that specifically Doomsday needs to do. Give a reason for those movies that came before it. And I've worried, because they say, oh, this is like a sequel to Endgame. Well, I don't want a sequel to Endgame. I want a sequel to, well, I don't want a sequel. I want a continuation of the story that's going on. Granted, it sucked, but give us that continuation. So that's the big thing that they need to do. But I also think they need to borrow from the comics more than they have in the past. Now, you take a look at the big one, which was Civil War. People love Civil War because they're all retarded, but it didn't borrow enough from the comic. Like, the concept, the idea of heroes fighting amongst each other. That was pretty much it. Nothing else in that movie was like the comic, like, at all. So to me, I sit there and say, okay, I can kind of understand why people like it, even though it's terrible. Whatever. You can like it. It's not good. And I understand. I'm somebody who understands that, look, I don't want the movies to be, complete carbon copy of the comic. But I'm also somebody who's like, I would love for them to reference some amazing aspects and moments from the comics. Like, come on, the end of the Civil War comic was so impactful, and we didn't get that, and we couldn't get it. So why even do it then? You take a look at them taking the Secret Wars thing. There's literally two different Secret Wars that they can pull from. And each one of them has iconic moments, iconic panels, iconic conversations that you could pull from, and you can combine them. Like, you can finagle things around and make both stories kind of become one in a way. But I don't want to lose out on that. The black suit for Spider-Man, I think him getting it for the first time in the original Secret Wars is an iconic moment. Like, think of that comic book cover. That comic book cover is just him standing there in the black suit. Like, it's iconic. I would love to see that on the screen. Just different things in that regard, I think they need to do, because they need to show that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios needs to show that they truly care about these movies, about these stories, about these characters, and say, look, we screwed up. We understand. So what we have to do is let's make these last movies mean something, but let's also give something to the crowd who has been following comics, reading comics for years, while making an exciting and film that's going to excite the general audience as well. I think that's what they need to do. And fire Robert Downey Jr., cast somebody else's Doom. That's it.
Yeah, listen, I happen to really like Civil War, but the one thing I'll say about comic book adaptations, especially for the MCU, is that they were never meant to be one-to-one, and I appreciate that. I don't want them to be one-to-one. I read the comics. I want a different story, or at least not exactly the same. Infinity War is a perfect example of that. Adam Warlock wasn't even in the movie. I don't think Doomsday or Secret Wars is going to be one-to-one. I am hoping that Doomsday ends with the final incursion and that, Secret Wars starts off like we're in Battle World. But yeah, I agree with most of what you said other than that.
Yeah.
And by the way, also menswear, listen, when Pedro Pascal was cast as Reed Richards, I was pissed. But he actually delivered in the role. I thought he was great. I read every Fantastic Four comic. Pedro crushed it. But he is definitely an overrated actor that is, I think he called him something flop. Yeah, you can't argue the fact that his movies flop. Fantastic Four didn't flop. It wasn't an amazing success, but it definitely didn't flop.
No, not at all. And to keep going with what Menz is saying here, he says, "Fuck Marvel. I want Clayface to do well, not these slot movies only made to cover the loss of 2025 movies." Yeah, I want Clayface to do well. Also, I think it will do well, but I think that we want Marvel to succeed because that'll push DC, and not because I want DC to turn into Marvel, because I don't, but I think you need to have two different types of franchises going on. And I think James Gunn is realizing that. Peter Safran's realizing that. So I think from the DC side, if Marvel does well with these Avengers movies and they make the $1.52 billion that they're probably going to make, and people love them and they talk about them all the time, that should entice the filmmakers and the creatives that are over at DC to say, well, we need to get on our A game and we need to do better. And that's important. I do think that's important. And Menz talks about giving Sam the shield was a bad idea. And he says he's black, so you can't call him racist. And I mean, I agree. I was always on the Bucky train, give Bucky the shield. I always wanted that to happen. I think that there was a perfect opportunity in Endgame to have that happen. I understand why they gave it to Sam, but I think it was a bad idea. And I'm also a believer that there's only one Captain America, and I think that's the story they should have told, is that yes, while you have the shield and you can act as Captain America, there's only ever been one Captain America. You have to be your own hero. And I think that's the story they should have told with Sam Wilson. And hell, I think it's time. Like, give us an original a brand new original superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's never been seen in comics, and make it big. And maybe that's how they could have done it. But that's just me.
If we ever see a different Captain America other than Steve Rogers, I want it to be David Colton. David Colton, who I was talking about last week from the, new Captain America and Avengers Armageddon comics. Like, yeah. But, menswear, if Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars don't do well, that's going to hurt the genre. You have to understand that, like whether you hate it or love it, the Avengers are the face of the genre in cinema. When people think of the superhero movies, they think of Avengers. So if Avengers Doomsday isn't received well, superhero fatigue narratives are coming right back.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say all the time, your Spider-Mans are always going to do well. Deadpool and Wolverine did well because it was a movie 10 years in the making, plus 10 plus years in the making because of the Logan aspect of it. Your Batmans will do well. Like there's certain movies and characters and stories that will do well regardless of the perception of the genre going on. And that's why, like, I was listening to one of John Campia's shows the other day, and he's like, I can't see it. Where's this superhero fatigue? And it's like, you're smarter than this, John. Like, realize that it's a Spider-Man movie. Like, that's why it's going to make $1 billion. Like, people just don't get that. Like, there is, I don't want to call it fatigue, but there is a boredom of sorts with superhero films at this point in time. I think that's the best way to put it, is boredom. It's boring now. We had 10, 15 years where it was the biggest thing ever, and now people are wanting to move on to something different. And it happens in film. It happens in Hollywood all the time, from the cowboy movies to the action movies to the 90s and 2000 comedies, and then the spoof films. Like, you have these little eras and spurts.
You just you're
back. Oh, okay. Back. But anyways, yeah, I think it's time to wrap everything up, though.
Oh, Bob did for real die.
Oh,
I'm back. I'm here.
Okay. Feige sniped.
All right. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I think this was a good show. You guys have anything else to talk about or say or bring up?
No, I will. I do think doing a Jeopardy one-off would be fun.
Yeah, I think we need to figure that out. But Colton, where can everybody find you?
White Ruby 53, pretty much everywhere.
And Jerry, where can they find you?
At Comics Cuts on all platforms, but I'm very active on X, Twitter.
And me. Nope, that's cool.
Oh, shit. Hey.
And me. You can find me at Slav's Free Talk on Twitter. You can find my channel at Slav's Free Talk as well, which I am streaming on today. I don't do it all the time. Maybe every couple weeks I'll stream this to get more people to know about it. But yeah, follow us there. Follow Bridging the Geekdoms on Twitter, on YouTube, and all that stuff to hear more of our takes as well. So yeah, guys, this was a good one. I loved it. Thank you all for joining. And with that said, we will catch you all later.